Aho, oyate, YouTube oyate. Ake Unheotakape, Wipazokawakpa, Saskatoon River, Onyanke, the settlement. Etan hadetchit ho in Ichap. Unka ake. Dakota Iapi. Haduhanskamte. We will talk about the language. Haduhanskamte. We'll work at it. We'll work at retaining the language. Before we start, I will say prayer. Wocheki e pengahan. Hayoptum kiaptero, hechitukta. Anka to kantaketa. Ake hechit, hoichichikta, namichik, aya hechit, wahiotuk. A tokata ki awachi. O de hoichichi. A techaki dina. O tokata ki naku rehinach ichagapshni, hana. A toket ken umpta ichi, o hewahiotuk. Dakota umpta, o ish, o hechitukdishne. Ichi wahiotuk onka. Anie waoshiada. O he wachinwai, he wachinwai. Oshunki dapo ato kantak. O Dakota unyakahape. O makoche unyakup edwichoi charikta. Dakod wichoch, dakod Iapi dina unyakup. Atak toketuga. O hena. O toch beki a hechit. Wichoi charikta dina unkupe. Onka hewana storonki ebon kokachnechap. Ake hina unkikik chachimpe. Aiche hina wichuni hacha wichaundap. Acha ake dechin uheata kapido ato kantak. Aushunki dapo, onshu chakido tokatake wichochakidina. Ake Dakota upichapt. Aya hechet hoya. Ka Dakota Iapi dehe duhan skampt. Hatuwe chateo chos ya dina aikik chochinka onshikida. Oki a Dakota kahwo aya hechet. Apetu kide hoye chichi. Acha wopira tonka chichi ro ato kantaka ake. Apetu hechet oyankupke de. Hadu ha hechet tokata ke o chima unipte do. Aya wopira do. Homitakwe os. I spoke to Creator about who we are. Untuepe, who are we? Untuepe. Da unkotape, we are Dakota. He gave us a territory to thrive, to live and thrive. He gave us a way of life, Dakota Wichocha. He gave us a language to use to communicate. Doke umpka, communication. We were like that for many, many generations. Wichoichage is a generation. Wichoichage. I don't know how many years that would be in Dakota concept, a generation. It might be 40, 50, 60 years old, maybe a generation. I'm not sure, but many generations were like that as Dakota. Thriving in our territory, understanding our land, understanding our resources, whether it's water, whether it's the animals, whether it's the birds, the fauna, the medicines, whatever it is, we're made to understand that. And from there we get life, sustenance, we thrive for many generations. Hundreds, thousands years, some people say, I don't know how many thousands of years, but we've been here. And when we look around, we are still here as Dakota. We are still here as who we are. Maybe we've lost some, but because we use our wo'inina, we use our mind, we think, we contemplate, and we say, hey, we are losing our language, our traditions. We should do something about it. And so, the good governance of Sioux Valley, Wipazakawakpa, they've They thought about it and said, well, we need to reclaim our language, our cultures, so that the future generation tokate ki vichoichage dina ie. Unvichonik, with it they will enhance, they will have life. So they put these programs together, regaining language and culture. I think it's a very good thing. Do kia nakapi wherever you are, Dakota, Lakota, Nakota. Nija, you too. Dina iduk champi, stodwai. Nija, you too. You thought about it. And you're doing something about regaining the language, the culture of Dakota, Nakota, Lakota. The Ocheti Shakoy, 7 council fires. We were given these to govern ourselves, to look after ourselves. You give us a way to do this. We have our religion, if you want to call it that, Wochikye. We have our own laws brought to us by an entity, a woman entity, on how to live, govern ourselves, our laws. And here is the territory where we must do that according to instruction. Ya to kanta kai chata, we wa makata u ega. O deche di ampta, dena wo pi haka bi ampta, deche ni hidu hapta. Ayacha uwicha unda ba yeche yakop. Ni hidu hapta means this is how you're going to apply yourself. This is how you're going to live. Apply these different aspects of who we are as a nation: language, culture, religion, laws, governance. All these things that point towards us being a sovereign nation. A sovereignty is to look after yourself. So He gave us, Creator gave us a way to do that, instructed by this woman entity many generations ago, so that we could have flourishing good life. And we've been like that for a while, for generations, maybe 19, 20 generations when the laws came. That's over 2,000 years ago, maybe 2,000 years ago. Kinktopo renum. Kinktopo re is 1,000 years. Num is 2,000 years. Since colonization, we've failed. We didn't lose it, but we failed to live by it because we were forced to use a different language called the English language. We were forced to accept a different religion called Christianity. Live under different laws, the Canadian law, as they call it. And I've talked about it. The Canadian law is for Canadian citizens. We weren't we weren't recognized as Canadian citizens until 1960. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? Then all of a sudden in 1960, without asking us, they've passed a law, a legislative law that says we are all Canadian citizens. I question that. Even today I question that. Because Makoche gede hinach unkitape. Makoche is this territory, this land. It's still ours. We didn't sign it away. We didn't make an X on a paper to sign it away to anybody. It's called unceded territory. We didn't sign it away. But we do have agreements. Agreement is a wope. Wostodie. Wope with the British Crown, the king at that time. And the queens following that. They know that. They don't talk about it too much. But those agreements made between two sovereigns, the sovereign of Ocheti Shakoni and the sovereign of the kings and queens of Europe, British. There's only 3 areas that there was agreement, and they are still in effect today. Economics, trade, and military alliance. So we still have those as a Dakota. I have to think about what can we do with that today? In these times of unknown, somewhere, Makatan, long ways. There's a war going on somewhere. In these times of uncertainty, we should come together as Dakota, Nakota, Lakota. You see what we can make of this uncertainty that we live in today. And that is why the Creator gave us this territory, this life, so we can thrive. We can not only exist, but thrive, continuing forward. I think of those things. Those are questionable, or they should be discussed. Discussable matters. Iukcha is to think about it. Iukcha. I'm going to think about this. I'm going to debate this in my own mind. I'll think about it. See what I can come up with. I'll do something about it. Just thoughts of the day today. Takad outside. Takad wahi hai. Kita na makaj. A little bit of snow, a little bit of rain outside. Waktapo yakachapapka. When you're driving, yakachapapka. Waktapo, it might be slippery. So be aware of that. A wintry mix is what they said. Wahi hegad naku mini ichi chahia, a mixture. Ichahi. Ichahi is to mix. A mixture of snow and rain. Ichahi. Ichim Brandon hitcha bedekte. Chanku washteka, tayam bedekte. If the road is good, I'll travel in a good way. When you have everyday language like that, if you're talking to your tahashi or your friend, the subject of what you're going to do might come about, and you might say, I'm going to go to Brandon today. You don't have to use the Dakota word for Brandon, which is oioche. You don't have to say that. You don't really, As long as you say it in Dakota that you're going to go to Brandon, you can say Brandon Hitcha Bedektido. Brandon Hitcha, because everybody knows where Brandon is, But you have to know the Dakota name for Brandon. Or you can say Winnipeg Hitcha Bedektido. I'm going to go to Winnipeg. Everybody knows where Winnipeg is. Or Regina Hitcha Bedektido. Calgary Hitcha Bedektido. BC, Vancouver Hitcha Bedektido. Oh. They agree. They say, oh. Tokecha Hitcha Dikta. Why are you going over there? Tokecha. Why? Hitcha over there. Dekta, you go. Why you go over there? These kinds of conversations. And yeah, you can use the English term for these towns like Griswold, Oak Lake, Rivers, Nipawa, where Takosha is from. He just told me a while ago. And you can say the English word for the town. It's good, as long as you say it in Dakota. Nipawa Hichi Bedekte, or Takosha can say, Nipawa Hichi Wahadekte. Wahadekte is, you're implying that you live over there. That's where you are from. Wahadekte. Nipawa, the town. Hechia over there. Wahadekte, I'm going home. because that's where I'm from. If I'm in Brandon and I want to come home to Sioux Valley, I can say, Tiata Wahadikta. If the person I'm talking with knows me, we know each other, and we know that we're from Sioux Valley, I can just say, Tiata Wahadikta. I'm going to go home. And because this person knows where I'm from, and I know he knows where I'm from. So I don't have to mention a place. I said, Tiata Wahadikta. Tiata. Remember, T is a home. Tipi. Tipi. Yata. Yata is over there. Tipi, over there, where I'm from. Tiyata. Wahadekte. I'm going to go home. So a simple conversation like that, I'm always encouraging you use simple, everyday language that they've been used for centuries, for generations. We've used this language in these ways, and it hasn't changed. It's still the same. I can't change it. Oyanke. Oyanke is a settlement. Oyanke. OT is, in the settlement you live in there. Oyanke OT. Oyanke Owati. I live in the settlement. Owati. T, remember the tipi is there again. Owati, I live in there. Oyati, you live in that settlement. Oyanke Oyati. Oyanke is a settlement, a place, a town, a city. Oyanke. Otunweta, we say the town Otunweta. I think about that word sometimes. Otunweta, is that the correct way to describe a Oyanke, a settlement, a place? I seem to hear two words. Otun is to be born, to live from a place. Do it like a baby is tun. A baby is being birthed. That's tun. Tunpi. Ampeto one day ha tunpi. This baby was born on that day. Birth is tun. Weta, that's the portion of otunweta that I kind of question. Weta is not really a word, but Wita is. Wita is an island. Otun Wita, I think might be, for me anyway, the correct way. Otun Wita. Wita is an island. Remember in Minnesota that Tinta Wita. Tinta Wita in Minnesota. Tinta is a prairie. Wita is an island of a prairie. It's not extending all the way over here. It's just an area. Wita is an island, an area, and that's what you call Wita. So Otun, where you are born, where you're birthed, Wita is an island of homes. Is how I would see it. This is how we say it. Otun. Wrong. Otun Weta. So this is birth, being born. Tun. This I questioned, Weta. Over there it might mean Otun Weta. Maybe that's what it means. But what I'm saying is Wita. This is an island. An island of homes. Birth. Just something to think about. Tun is to birth, to give birth. And you live here in this town of houses, Wita is an island. So I don't know about that. Wita, Weta.
You know what you said? Wita. Wita is island. And you like Utuwita, Utuwita. We have homes in this town. And you had said that, it's just like an island, in this town. An island of homes. That's how, as you were talking, that's what I was thinking. Utuwita. We have an island of homes.
Yeah,
Maybe that's how it came.
it came
About?
Yeah, because Vitaya is together.
Yeah.
Vita is an island of, Vitaya is a collection of, the Uwitaya, all this here is Vitaya. Uwitaya, we put it there, right? Together, I wonder if that's where it came from, huh?
It might have.
Yeah, but we kind of modernized it we say Vita, Otun Weta, so there's something to ponder. Otun Vita is maybe the proper way of saying it.
I think the proper way of saying it is Utuwita.
Otun Vita, yes, I would think so. When we kind of break it down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Otun Vita. So any collection of homes, settlements, even big cities, you can say Otun Vita. They're together, a collection of houses.
Coming together.
Like big cities like Winnipeg, Regina, Vancouver, Ottawa. Otun Vita Tonka. We've heard that word, right?
Yeah.
Tonka is big, Like say Griswold is Otun Tistina is small. Otun Tonka is a big city, So I think that needs further thought. Is a thought. And there's small towns here and there all over. And earlier we were talking about the earlier days in the 1800s when settlement started happening in Dakota Territory. Villages, especially along railroads, settlements will pop up, farmers, settlers, and they create little towns. Like around here, if you go from, say, Portage, Manitoba, going west to, I know as far as Regina anyway, there's towns that have either Dakota or Lakota names, towns that are existing today. Like the one we talked about, Takoja here, he's from Nipiwa. You can find it on the map. It sounds like Nipiwa in Dakota. Nipiwa. Nipi is to live, to thrive. Unipti, we're living. Nipi and wa is snow. Nipiwa is, let me write that. Nipi, this is the correct version of where Takoja, AWA, right?
Yeah.
Nipawa. That's the correct that's the correct spelling of the town where Takoja is from, Nipawa. But in Dakota, it seems like this. Nipi. Nipi is to live, to thrive. Nipi-wa. I'll just put live here. Live. And wa is snow. Nipi-wa, a living snow. Towns like that sprang up in the early mid 1800s have Dakota names. Nipawa is one of them. Menidosa, which is just west of Nipawa. Menidosa, you can find that on the map. Menidosa is for sure a Dakota name. Minikaduza is the original one, a fast-running creek. I think There's a little town, I went fly fishing there one time, a little town called Franklin. Franklin has a little creek system. It's really fast, but there's beaver dams there. But there's a little trout in there. I went fly fishing for trout there one time. Franklin, it's a nice little river system, just east side of Mendoza. So Miniduza is the Dakota version of Minikaduza. Minikaduza is fast running water. That's Mendoza. Along that same line, you go this way, you go to, I would say, Miniota. Okay, let's say Miniota. Miniota is again Mini. Ota is water. Oh, no, Mini is water. Ota is lots or many. So many water, lots of water. That's a Miniota. Miniota. You can find it out on the map, Miniota. And coming this way, Hamiota. Now there's another one that I say, I question. Hamiota, ham is what, meat? Ota is lots of meat?
Lots of ham.
Well, lots of ham, lots of ham. I said, that doesn't sound right. There's a town north of here called Hamiota.
Maybe it was supposed to be like something else, but
Yeah, mispronounced.
it was mispronounced.
Yeah.
So, that this
Yeah.
Hamiota stayed.
Exactly. Okay, I think where the mispronunciation is the H.
Yeah.
Of course, the English, they can't say, I think that's where the mispronunciation is. If you put the in it, it's more like maniota, not hamiota. Ham or ha is maniota. I think this is the proper word that was used to describe that settlement. Back in the day when the Dakota showed up, somebody must have asked them, what is this place called? We call it Ota, where there's lots of train activity. Ota, along the train tracks. A lot of these settlements are along on the railway station. So Chemani is a little hill, or could be a bigger hill, but it's a raised area of the land. What do you lay the railroad tracks on? You make a right? You make a mound, and you put your train tracks on there. That's the That's the hill, little mound, and that's what they call the Chemani. So you make a little mound like this, and you put your train tracks on there, right? And you go to any train track, and you'll see the little mound that they create. They make a mound, and they put the railroad track on there. That's the That's the little mound. That's the hill. Chemani Ota. That's lots of trains going by. And what else over here? South of Brandon would be Wawanisa, a town called Wawanisa, and it's in the map also. Wawanisa. In Dakota, you say Wawanicha. Wa is the snow, Wanicha is no snow. So the name Wawanisa is a Dakota name. They must have came up with a name when there's hardly any snow. There should be snow, like maybe in November or something, and they found themselves like there's no snow. So they might have talked about that in Dakota. De Wawaniche. Oh, what did you say? And the Wawaniche. Oh, okay, this place, Wawanisa. Okay, we'll name this place Wawanisa. That could have happened. I'm not sure. But, yeah. So that's Wawanisa over there. And if you go south more, I don't see anywhere that might be significant. But that's two areas in just south of Brandon that have a Dakota name. If you go this way into Saskatchewan, there's a little town called Wawota, Saskatchewan, just west of Virden, Manitoba. Wawota is a Wa-ota. Wa is snow, ota is lots. Wa-ota, lots of snow. And on the number 1 highway, you go west, you'll see Wapella. That's a Lakota word, Wapella. Wapella is to howl or to bark, like in a wolf or a coyote or a fox. Back in the day, they must have heard a wolf howl or something like that that was significant. Something significant happened when they heard this wolf howl. Wapella. In the camp dogs, when there's something out of the ordinary happening, they'll bark a lot. And the camp dogs will do that. They will notify the people there's something happening, so they'll bark or howl lots. Maybe that happened. I'm not sure. So Wapella is there. And you're going west again. You would come to Oksila, Saskatchewan. Oksila, it could be Hoksila. Hoksila is a older boy, but a younger man. Hoksila. Okay, in Dakota we say Hokshida. Hokshida is a boy, maybe about 10 years old, 12 years old, not quite a man yet. Hokshida. That could be a name for that, Hokshida. So it's very interesting, some of these place names that are being used today still, and how maybe they might have come up with the names like Sintaluta, Saskatchewan. Sinte is the tail, luta is the red. Tail red tail. It could be because there's a red-tailed hawk. It could be a red-tailed hawk. There could be the fox. Chouris. Riz is kind of reddish orange kind of thing. Riz. It could be the fox. So that's another Lakota name. Sinteluta, red tail. Another thing to iuk, to contemplate. Where did that name come from? But these names like that in Saskatchewan are more Lakota words. There's a Kirkella. Kirkella could be kukeda. It's something that's worn down. Kukeda. It's like if you wear your pants too long and then you put a hole in your knees from working lots. It's kukeda. You put holes in it because it's too thin. Kukeda. Because R is the early English way of saying the word. R. When you read old letters, like these books here, these are wonderful books put together by James Ritchie, a historian. And here are some of the words that have the in it. They will use the R. So it could be, the Kirkella, the R could be a word. I'm trying to think of a word that might be similar or like that, but it'll have that sound in it. So that might be Kirkella. Because what does Kirkella really mean, right? Does that mean anything in English or anything like that? Just a thought. So a lot of these towns still have the Dakota place names for it. And I always think that maybe we should go take a drive around and see these towns, right? And see what they're like today. See if they're flourishing. Or I know Nipua is where Takosha is from. I know Menidosa is. Hamiota, yes, is still there. Maniota is still there. So yeah, we should go visit, take a picture of the place name, the sign, say, hey, we're in Nipua, Nipiwa, like that. I think that'll be very interesting. Like a little project to go and do that. See how many people are living there, Some of these towns are small, like there might be like 400, 500 people, right, Takoja? Some of these really smaller towns that have a few hundred people living there, but they're thriving, There's usually a store there, and where they get their groceries. Woyote. Woyote is a grocery. Woyote. So hina ishe ibidukcha. Those ibidukcha I think about today. Taku what? Taku iwowa hadakikta. What am I going to talk about? Iwowa hadakikta. Wohadaka is to speak. Iwowa hadakikta. It means I'll speak about that subject. Iwowa hadakikta. Taku iwowa hadakikta. What am I going to speak about? Taku iwowa hadakikta hai ampetukinde. Just to keep within the way that I wanted to do the language, just to talk, to speak. Keep on talking. Wo hadaka makikta. Kaitsanachumta. Nayachumka oyakachnikapta. You'll understand, and then you will start using it. The time to start using it is now, today. We start using it today. Yesterday, a couple of days ago, I was at the gas bar, petrol. Just one word I heard, one word from a young man, Hokushido. He was working there. And that made me happy. That made me really happy. Even just that one word. I said to the young Takos, the young man, you keep it up. It made me happy today. Even just that one word. That means that tells me that you're thinking about it. You're thinking about that language. And you use that one word to me, that made my day. Apetu ki yomakpe, apetu nupagheha, 2 days ago, apetu nupagheha. Petrohechia wa'i. I went to Petrohechia over there. Wa'i, I arrived there. Wakahandi opawata, I was buying petrol, I was buying gas. Hokushida, the young boy, the young man, Omakia, he was helping me, putting in gas. Wakahandi omichashta. Okashta is to pour in, to put in okashta. And he spoke to me in Dakota, just one word that made me stop. Hawekta. Takaha, what did you say? I heard what you say. That made my day. Ampetuke yomakpe. I don't even know the Takosha's name. But I commended him, Hewashtido. That's good. You keep it up. Hechua, do that. Learn, use. So as an old person, that day, listening, hearing that perfect word of Dakota, man, that made me stop. I said, Washti, Yukpimada. And then later on when he came in, Timahid, he came into Petra, I made a note to let him know that I appreciated Yomakpe. I appreciated him using the language, just one word. Just one word. Dakota do Hokshila. You are a Dakota. I heard you. You made an old man happy today. And I went about my way to Otueta, to Oyogeta, to Brandon. I went on my way happy that it is possible. Okihi picha. It's possible to do. Okihi is to be able to do it. It's possible that these young people, the more we talk to them, the more we mention and stress the importance of the language, it can happen. Because you can use the language, Dakota language, and English language at the same time. You can use both in one day. But the language enhances who you are. It gives you identity, who you are. Dakota do takoja, hokshira Dakota do. Dakota wo, be a Dakota. Dakota wo. Nachich ondo, I heard you. Dakota do. Yukpi mada, you made me happy. So that gives me confidence. It gave me confidence that it can be done. Unkokihipi do, we unkokihipi. Owakihi, that's just me. Owakihi do, I can do it. Oyakihi do, you can do it. Unkokihipi do, all of us, we can do it. Because it was shown to me that day, a couple of days ago, that it is possible. So hina yomakpido. These are the things that I wanted to talk about. Dakota ia dina epawachi. With the Dakota language, I wanted to say these things. Because therein lies who we are, our identity as Dakota, Nakota, Lakota. How beautiful would be that day when we go about our business. Apetu takto kumkumte, our business. Apetu takto kumkumte na. Dakota ia uskampte. We'll do it using the language. Dakota ia uskampte. With the language, we're going to do our business of the day. Dakota ia uskampte. We will conduct our business in the language. And be happy, because knowing that we are who we are. I say I'm Dakota Iwaya. That's the proof that I'm a Dakota Iwaya. You can hear me. You can see me. I'm a Dakota. So that was a beautiful day. Apeto Oshtic like a couple of days ago. I was happy to hear this young man speak. So I will leave it there for a break, maybe 10-15 minute break, and I will let Tojan here say a few words too. So we'll break here and then we'll be back. Hey, do, that is how it is.
bitak Iapi, ke. Detched wa hibdutaka, Dakota Iapi, Ure, Uspechi chapter. Hana, Daya anagoptana kapkaha. Kahani jahna oya kakhni gafta. You know, we're here again. I'm here again to teach what I can teach. I can't say, I'm a professional in teaching the language, but I try and do what I can to help people, to be able to speak it, the pronunciation especially. It's very important, to keep in mind a lot of the things that is being said out there. Because sometimes, we do make mistakes. We're not perfect. We can make a mistake. I know I have done that in the past, but I try and correct what I do. So with that, our summer is coming up. It's going to be summer soon. And when summer arrives, there's lots of powwows that happen. Wachipi. Different communities will have powwows, which is always an exciting time, to see your friends again, or dance with your friends. It uplifts a person, when you hear the drumming, the singing, watching people dance. So I'm going to, this is a verb, and I'm going to use the word wachi. Wachi is to dance. When you go to a powwow, that's what you do. You don't have to be, in your regalia. Sometimes people go out there just, to feel that the beat of the drum, to be a part of it, of the the crowd that is out there in the middle dancing. So a lot of them go and they wachi to dance, or he or she dances. Wachi. And if I was to go out there and do that, to dance, I will say wawachi. Wawachi. I dance. I'm going to join the crowd in the middle and wawachikte. Wawachi. Wawachikte. I will dance. Wawachikte. Wayachi. Wayachi. That means you dance. You want to be in the crowd in the middle? Wayachi. Wayachi. You will dance? Wayachikte. Wayachikte. So, wawachi. Wawachi is I dance. Wayachi is you dance. Wayachipi. Wayachipi. You all dance. Remember, the P is the plural. Waiachi P. You all dance. Waiachi P. Wauchi. Wauchi. You and I dance. You and I dance. Wauchikte. You and I will dance. Wauchikte. You and I will dance. Wauchipi. Wauchipi. We dance. Wauchipikte. We will all dance. Wauchipikte. We will dance. All of us. Wachipi. Wachipi. They dance. Wachipi. Wachipi, yeah. They dance. So coming back, sometimes you'll hear the announcer, telling people to dance. Wachipo. Wachipo, telling people to dance. Yokpia, wachipo, be happy as you're dancing. Some of the words that you will hear out as you visit, go from one powwow to another. These are some of the words that you might hear. Wachi, wachi, waiachi, waiachi, you dance. Wawachi, I dance. Wachipi, you all dance. Wachipi, 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 wachipo. You all dance. Waunchi, waunchi, waunchiktea. Come on, waunchiktea. Hiyo, ito waunchiktea. Come, we will dance. You and I will dance. Waunchiktea. Waunchiktea. You and I will dance. Waunchipi. Waunchipi. We will dance. All of us sitting here, waunchipi. Waunchipiktea. We'll all dance. And then wachipi, telling, everybody, they dance. Wachipo, everybody dance. Wachipo, wachipo. You'll hear the announcer, telling people to dance. So these are some of, powwow words that you would hear, and now maybe you will understand, what they are trying to put out, out there, telling you what to do, to dance, have fun. Iokpia wachipo. Iokpia wachipo. Iokpia is, be happy as you dance. Iokpia wachipo. Iokpia, be happy. And sometimes you might hear, I was going to say a word and it slipped my mind. Iokpia wachipo. Diane wachipo. Diane wachipo, dance in a good way. Dance in a good way. So these are, some words, once again, that you will be able to pick out. I know there's going to be powwows happening every weekend, probably from now on. So listen carefully what the announcer is saying. And another verb I would like to introduce is to feed. To feed. Wo-oo. Remember that sound in your, kind of like in the upper part of your, not really your tongue, but down, there's that, you kind of make it with your tongue. Wo-oo. 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 That means to feed. Wo-oo. Wo-oo. To feed. Wo-yak-oo. 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 That's you feed. Wo-yak-oo. You're feeding. Wo-yak-oo. Wo-yak-oo-pi. Wo-yak-oo-pi. You all feed. Wo-yak-oo-pi. Wo-yak-oo-pi. We're feeding as a person and yourself. Wo-yak-oo-pi. Wo-unk-oo. 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 That means you and I feed. Wo-unk-oo. Wo-unk-oo-pi. Wo-unk-oo-pi. We feed. So, it's kind of like not really a difficult word, but you have to really put your tongue to use, that muscle that you have never used. That's what it's doing. You're putting your muscles in your mouth to work, to make these certain sounds. Woke-oo, oo, woke-oo, to feed. Wowak-oo, wowak-oo, I feed. Wowak-oo is like I feed, somebody. Wowak-oo. Shunkaraki wowak-oo. I'm feeding the dog. Shunkaraki o shukparaki wowak-oo. I'm feeding the dog. Woyak-oo. Woyak-oo. Takoja woyak-oo. Takoja woyak-oo. Are you feeding your granddaughter or grandchild? Woyak-oo. Woyak-oo. Woyak-oo-pi. Woyak-oo-pi. Did you feed all the people? Woyak-oo-pi. Did you feed them? So again, like concentrate on that. K'oo, k'oo. Wo-unk-oo, wo-unk-oo. You and I are going to feed our children. Wo-unk-oo, wo-unk-oo. So keep saying that, that muscle that you've never used. And the word wachi is, pretty, it's, you don't really need to put anything in use, like using the muscles. But woku, is you try and say it the proper way. Because if we don't, it will mean nothing. So those are the two words that I wanted to introduce. Two verbs, wachi and woku. We'll come back to that when we do some more verbs. And there's lots to learn. So we'll just keep at it, and then we'll just make short phrases or sentences out of that once we know how to use it properly. It will add on. Can probably converse, using these verbs. So Iapi, it's a very short lesson, but it's something to think about. It's kind of like difficult, especially when you're using wachi, wa-un-chi, you and I dance. Wachi-pi, you all dance. Wachi-hiaya, that person is going around dancing. Woke-u, woke-u, wowak-u, I'm feeding my granddaughter. Wowak-u, wowak-u. Woyak-u, talking to somebody else. Woyak-u, did you feed her or him? Woyak-u. Wo-unk-u. Ito wo-unk-ukte. Let's feed this person. Wo-unk-u. So we will, add as we go along. But this is just an introduction, like how to use those verbs, how to say them properly. And then we'll start to add words, nouns onto them so as we can make a sentence. So I'll leave my lesson at that, and we'll come back to it again. Verstehe.
you.